Mr. Gingras, how would you define the relationship between editors and Google? Are they enemies or allies or neither of them?
I would hope that we're allies and collaborators. As I've often said, Google and publishers actually share a common cause. Both of us rely on a rich open ecosystem of distribution. Right? Publishers need the open web, for instance, to find new audiences, to be successful. Google's entire business and our core products like search are also based on the open web. So, and our business platforms, the advertising platforms, also are based on the open web. So we share many common objectives. We share that common objective of an open ecosystem. We share common objectives of wanting to create a rich ecosystem of journalistic knowledge. Right? That is something that we've been working on for years. So it must be collaborative, and it's important that it be collaborative. And we've worked very hard, particularly over the last few years, on collaborative efforts with publishers. I mentioned the open web. The AMP project, the Accelerated Mobile Pages project, was entirely a collaborative effort, an open source effort to make the web fast, to make it compelling, to deal with the challenges of ads that are causing people to use ad blockers all the time. So increasingly, it's extraordinarily valuable that we collaborate, that we work together. And I think that we're making, very good progress in that regard.
And only one more question. What would you suggest, because nowadays citizens have a lot of information thanks to digital media, so what would you suggest for people in order not to get lost into all the information they have on the internet, but at the same time not fall into the filter bubble?
I think as citizens, each of us have a responsibility to try to be as knowledgeable as we can, to try to be as informed as we can. And yes, now we live in a world, in a digital ecosystem, a world of almost complete free expression, where we see information from many sources, legitimate and not. And I think it's, I like to think it's our personal responsibility to, develop that critical thinking, to understand the nature of the source, to understand the motivation of the source, to understand the expertise of the source. And concurrently, I think it's the responsibility of companies like Google to help give users that 360 perspective on questions. How do they understand not only the latest news, but different perspectives on the news, different background information on the news, such that they can come to informed decisions. And I think as well in the journalistic community, as we evolve journalistic forms, it's again, how do we do that? How do we build bridges between the divisive elements of our societies today, the hyper-partisan elements of our society today? I think we all have responsibilities in the journalism community and us as participants in the ecosystem to continuously seek new efforts to figure out how do we build trust, how do we give people a sense of knowledge such that they can form their own opinions, not tell them what to think, tell them how to think, or give them the information they need such that they can develop their own critical thinking and come to their own informed conclusions.